Today we'll be continuing to work on the creepypastas in Gacha Club. My Gacha Club is acting weird. It's lagging so much again. It does this all the time, and it's pretty annoying. Before we start, I want to apologize about last night. I did not mean to fall asleep extremely early. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. And hydrating. So, we are on cupcakes, I think. I think that's what we were on, last time. So a little info about the creepypasta cupcakes. Pretty much it's a creepypasta version of Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony. Some of you guys might know the show, some of you guys might not. Probably little kids would. This is starting to seriously horrify me. Alright, so we're doing pretty much Pinkie Pie as a creepypasta. I'll also be reading it to you guys because it will be giving you guys info about the creepypasta. Okay, someone please help me up how to freaking do this. I think that's correct. Yep, it is. That looks... yes. Pretty much they are also be called that. I am not doing this correctly, am I? His actual name, Rip. Yeah, it's called... I know. And I'm starting to actually hate this design already. I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm gonna do about Pinkie Pie's hair color here. Thanks, Kirby. That's about it. Looks... I think that's correct on eye color, but that's creepily horrifying. Oh no, it's blacked out. Wait, sorry. I'm starting to think I'm not actually getting this correctly at all. So, how's everyone's day going? Rip. It's finally Friday, so I'm off of school until Monday. Okay, I did not think this through, did I? Heads up, I have no idea how I'm actually going to make this character work. But we'll figure it out. Okay. So I'm looking at like photos. I'm trying to figure something out for the character. And for some reason, the chat has gone silent. Okay. What the heck am I doing with this design? Sorry to actually question that. one just pretty much disappeared. Alright, for now, here's the final design of 𝓡𝓁. Alright, update it later, but this is it for now. This is honestly a strange choice of colors. Okay, this one's actually interesting, but Rainbow Factory. Created by the internet's user 𝓧𝓁-𝓮, Rainbow Factory is a fan fiction of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic that tells the story of two Pegasi, 𝓧𝓁 and Orion, who fail a flight test due to trying to help a third Pegasus, Aurora, who broke their wing while flying. They are transferred to a large weather factory that is managed by Rainbow Dash. After being locked in a large room with several others, Rainbow Dash reveals how rainbows are made through the use of mutilated, I don't know. Live Pegasi being put through a machine called a Pegasus device that converts their corpses into individual colors known as spectra, which are the mix to make rainbows. After attempting to retaliate against Rainbow Dash and the cruelty of the factory, Orion is chained up to a machine and twisted it until his ribs shatter. Before being tossed into the device, 𝓧𝓁 attempts to escape from a now maniacal and sane Rainbow Dash, but is proven fruitless as she is captured by the guards and attached to the machine, where she utters her last words to Rainbow Dash: "You have beautiful eyes." The ending of the story is ambiguous. I honestly have no idea as to her fate. There's a sequel to the set 20 years later, centered around two other fools who escaped being turned into rainbows and the lives of the workers in the weather factory. Oh, boy. So pretty much of what Rainbow Factory is Rainbow Dash as a creepypasta, to be exact. Don't know where everyone else went, but why did I put my phone towards my chin? Why did I do that? So, Rainbow Factory. Hey! Why does my phone keep just like slipping out? Oh my goodness. Well, this is gonna be both creepy and horrifying. Well, it's actually going to be both. Okay, so the next one we're doing is Rainbow Factory. Rainbow Factory and Cupcakes is actually from the same fandom, kind of. Not really. Well, the two characters are pretty much from the same series, which is called My Little Pony. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. The main character of the series, or not the main character, but this character is a female named Rainbow Dash, who holds the element of loyalty. And I'm trying to actually figure out how I'm going to do this. Okay, here we go. This works at least. Yeah, this works. Trying to actually figure out something here. This is interesting to actually make. If you guys have known, I actually have a series of the creepypastas called How I Met the Creepypastas, which actually is telling the story of my made-up character Rainer, pretty much just Rainer. Well, more of known as Ash originally. Okay. Is anyone alive? Yeah, everyone practically just disappeared. And here's the final design of Rainbow Factory or Rainbow Dash. Actually, hold up. I'm gonna add something real quick to finish this. Perfect. Hello, Captain Price II, and I am good. Alright. Video game creepypastas. We're here, guys. These creepypasta focus on video games containing ghostiki, I don't know, or violent content. This content may spill over into the real world and cause the player to harm themselves or others. Many video game creepypastas involve malevolent entities such as ghosts or artificial intelligence. So most of these, you actually might know, guys. You guys might know these. So this is gonna be interesting. Ben Drowned. Created by the internet user Alex Hall, aka Jad Usable, I don't know. Ben Drowned tells a story of a college student only identify as Jad Usable. I'm just gonna call him Jad. Who buys a used copy of the video game The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask from an elderly man at a yard sale. Jad finds the The cartridge is haunted by the ghost of a boy named Ben, who drowned, as well as an entity that seems to have taken his name, only identify as Ben. In an economic force known as the Father, after performing the fourth-day glitch, 𝓧𝔁 encounters disturbing glitches and ominous messages such as, "You shouldn't have done that," and "You've met a terrible fate, haven't you?" It begins to encounter Ben in the game, who takes the form of the 𝓚 of emptiness statue. The story would later spiral into an alternate reality game with the introduction of an in-universe website belongs to the Moon Children, a mysterious cult. After an 8-year-long hiatus, the story returned in 2020, once again in an alternate reality game format, for its final arc dubbed 𝓚-𝓚-𝓮𝓮𝓹𝔂, which featured adjustment plot lines about a man calling himself Jadis recounting his experience during a social collapse due to a virus known as 𝓧𝓁, or 𝓧𝓁. I don't know. People waking up in a mysterious hotel run by a man named Abel, and return to a haunted Majora's Mask cartridge. Sorry. So that's pretty much Ben drowned. And that's the person we're doing next. You guys might have not heard of the game or of the character, but that's okay either way. This creepypasta gives me chills. Alright, let's do this, guys. So he has white skin. And my headphones just turned off. Okay. I'm starting to actually think I'm not actually doing this correctly. Yeah. Probably not. It's kind of like yellowish, I think, guys. I don't know. No, it's like good. It's like this, pretty much. Yeah, the chat's been silent lately. Are you guys okay? No. How are you, love? That's alright. It's alright, guys. I'm good. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna make this design of 𝓡𝓪𝓭. Wait, what? I didn't see the freaking chat. The chat are not. The chat is beat. You doing 𝓡𝓭? Yeah, I am. He's trying to. You know how this works. I think I made this too big, guys. I think that's good. Alright, guys. Sorry if I'm being quiet right now. Thanks. And here has been drawn. Oh, wait. Hold up. And here has been drawn. Hello. Thanks. Okay, this one, heads up, is pretty much a Minecraft creepypasta, actually. 𝓧𝓁-𝓵𝓮. Originally posted by an anonymous user on 4chan, 𝓧𝓁-𝓵𝓮 is a supernatural being or ghost that haunts single-player worlds of the sandbox video game Minecraft. The character is supposed to look like Steve, one of the default character skins available for new players of Minecraft, except for a pair of glowing white eyes, which lack pupils. Theories which explain 𝓧𝓁-𝓵𝓮's supposed origins range from his supported identity as the supposedly deceased brother of the Minecraft creator, Marcus Persson, also known as Notch, to an unlucky miner who haunt living players out of a desire for vengeance. Before I continue with 𝓧𝓁-𝓵𝓮, here are the characters designed so far. We've got Slenderman. I might update this later. We got Jeff the Killer. You get to choose if your mic is on or off. Yes, I can. It'll. Sucks I can't turn this around. Yeah, I can't. We've got Suicide Mouse. I almost did that for some reason. We've got Cupcakes or Pinkamena. We've got Rainbow Factory. And now we've got Ben Drowned. Alright. This one's gonna be interesting, actually, because... Wait, 2009. Wait, what? Oh, that was like 2 years. Okay. Have you heard? What? What haven't I heard? What? Yes, I did, and that gave me nightmares. Yeah, no kidding, don't show that to children. That will just ruin their like whole childhood. Literally in 1 second. Yeah, I don't think you wanna see it. Just trust us and don't watch it. What the heck is going on outside of my room? Pretty much this character is actually easy to make. Alright. Never heard of it. And boom, Herobrine's And here is Herobrine. I tried to make the character kind of the same. Ew. Oh, jeez. Herobrine. I don't know how to spell Herobrine. I think I spelled it right. Alright. For people who play Pokemon, I think, yeah. For the people who play Pokemon like me, this creepypasta is gonna be interesting. Lavender Town Syndrome. Okay, I don't. Is there even a picture for this? Wait, Pikachu's a freaking Pikachu's a creepypasta? Lavender Town Syndrome. I'm trying to see if there's. I'm pretty sure it's just the oh yeah. Right. It's just the picture of pretty much the game. Great. So I'll just read this, and then we're gonna move on to the. Actually, is that? Okay. The next one's gonna be interesting after this. The legend proposed that shortly after the original Japanese release of the video games Pokemon Red and Green in 1996, there was an increase in the death rate amongst children aged 10 to 15. Oh God. Children who had played the games reportedly screamed in terror at the sight of either of the games inserted into the Game Boy handheld console, and exhibited other erratic behavior before committing suicide through the methods such as hanging, jumping from heights, and greatly severe mutilation. Supposedly, the suicides were connected to the eerie background music played in the fictional location, Lavender Town, in the games. In the game's canon, Lavender Town is the site of the haunted Pokemon Tower, where numerous graves of Pokemon can be found. The legend alleges that children, besides being the primary players of the games, are most I don't even know how to say that, to the effects of Lavender Town music, because it supposedly incorporates binaural beats and high-pitched tone that adults cannot hear. It has been speculated that the legend was inspired by an actual event in Japan in 1997, in which hundreds of television viewers had experienced seizures due to a scene with flickering images in an episode of the Pokemon anime titled 𝓧𝔁-𝓵𝓮𝓮𝓹���. I've never watched that episode. Don't think I wanna. So that's Lavender Town Syndrome. So this next creepypasta. Oh jeez. This creepypasta is actually fan-made. Actually. And I will tell the story of this creepypasta, known as 𝓡𝓁 the Fire Killer. 𝓡𝓁 the Fire Killer was a teenage boy who pretty much lived in a normal life during the time. He had a younger sister named Riley and cared a lot about her the most. They usually would go camping a lot, and they would pretty much hang out all together. But something had happened once they had came home from that day. Something unexpected had happened. Ash's parents and him all encountered 𝓧𝔁-𝓵𝓮𝓮𝓹���, who was standing there waiting for them quietly, and also ticking while at it. 𝓧𝔁-𝓵𝓮𝓮𝓹��� immediately kills them without hesitating, right in front of 𝓡𝓁, and then leaves. Due to Riley escaping, 𝓡𝓁 had thought that she had died right before he had left, but she didn't. But Ash did not know that. He had dyed his hair red, bright red, and wore a mask to cover his face. He was wounded during the incident. Why the hell am I talking like that? And pretty much shows, and barely even shows his face. He then soon became the creepypasta known as 𝓡𝓁 the Fire Killer, and soon killed millions of people, burning their bodies. Why am I talking about him in this voice? Why am I doing that? But once he burns the bodies of the people he has killed, He then leaves a fire sigil saying R, standing for his name. Rainer continues to kill to this day, soon meeting the other creepypastas, and still wants revenge on 𝓧𝓁 for killing his family. Rainer has bright dark red hair and wears a gray jacket that had used to belong to his father.
What?
He wears a gray and black mask. He wears a gray and black mask to cover his face. And he has red eyes. And wolf ears and a tail.
Night.
Night.
Love you. Night, honey, I love you.
As his weapons, he uses a knife and a lighter, so he would not show any remains of the dead bodies. So, this fan-made creepypasta character was actually made by me. Soon, my friend Evelyn or Evie, it doesn't matter what you call her, also making 𝓧𝔁-𝓵𝓮𝓮𝓹���, which was a demon. Or not was, but is. Now, where's the light? Why can't I find it? I had a little issue over here.
Do this big pot. Okay.
I had a little issue over here, guys.
Can you text Sean, have him come up and take this trash out?
Yeah, but I cannot literally find anything in here. This sucks. Oh, found it. Before Rainer kills his enemies, or not enemies, but his victims, he always says, "Feel the fire," and then burns their bodies to a crisp, leaving them to die. Rainer is mentally insane, but he did eventually find his sister, but continues on killing even after. And that's the story of Rainer the Fire Killer. And please ignore the name, I literally couldn't think of anything else. Alright, the next one we'll be doing is �onic.exe. Honestly, do I even need to explain this one? And this is starting to actually get insane. It actually took me forever to actually make this freaking character. 𝓴 is a creepypasta created by 𝓧𝔁-𝓵𝓮. The original story follows a teenager named Tom, who receives a CD from his friend Kyle, a note telling him to destroy it. Finding Kyle's warning to be a joke, Tom decides to play it, finding it to be haunted version of Sonic the Hedgehog, 1991. The haunted version of the game contains 𝓧𝔁, I don't know how to say that, entity known as X, who takes on a form almost identical to Sonic, with bloodied black eyes and glowing red pupils. In each of the 3 levels, Tom plays as Tails, Knuckles, and Dr. Eggman, only for them to be killed and enslaved by X at the end of them. After all of the characters are killed, a hyper-realistic image of the character appears with the caption, "I am God." Tom turns around only to see a stuffed Sonic toy crying blood on his blood. I said blood. His fate, unknown. The original story was posted for the first time on the Creepypasta Wiki on August 2011, and was removed in January 2014 due to complaints of its poor quality when compared to other gaming creepypastas. Despite it being somewhat influential, the growing backlash towards the story led its author to publish a protracted diatribe, I don't know how to say any of this, about his grieving. Oh my god! With the Creepypasta Wiki's decision, which only fueled further criticism. Sonic.exe's story and the character gained popularity in 2012 when a fan game was created by, I don't know how to say that, pretty much comes in, replicating the game and the story. YouTubers Markiplier, PewDiePie, 𝓧𝓁 later did Let's Plays on the fan game, resulting in further recognition. Markiplier also played a sequel, which was created by 𝓧𝓁, as well titled 𝓴𝓁.exe, featuring Sally, Acorn, Amy Rose, and Cream the Rabbit. And parodies Stunky and Silly, I don't know how to say that, Sonic.exe has also been covered by Teens React, and the infographs show an unofficial edits of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer was made to depict Sonic as X, and has since received over 16 million views. Okay, I'm done. I'm done reading this now. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much what it actually says. And I also don't know how I'm gonna make Sonic.exe, so we're gonna figure that out. Oh boy. That's horrifying. Okay. Oh, one ow. Jeez. I have no idea of how I'm actually going to make this. I just realized that. Yeah, yeah, it is. I'll figure something out. So, fun fact about the part saying EXE. Do you guys remember the EXE battle series? So, that part wasn't actually inspired by this, guys. This was an idea from a friend of mine named Caleb, who is also a YouTuber. Caleb Gacha FNAF, or I don't know what his user is anymore at this point. But yeah, you guys should go subscribe to him. I don't know what Caleb's pronouns are. Okay, guys, I'm gonna explain this now. Creepypasta and pasta isn't the same thing. You guys might be thinking that it's pretty much some, yeah. But just a heads up, it's not any close to pasta. I don't know. So I just want to actually point that out, guys. Because creepypasta pretty much is telling stories of murderers. To be exact, murders. I messed up. Also, that is, yeah, pretty much. And also a therapist. Hello. Hello. Well then, welcome to my channel. My name is 𝓧𝓁, or well, you can actually just call me anything, really. But my name is 𝓧𝓁. It's a pleasure to meet you all, or the people who are new at least. Yeah, he's a therapist. Yeah. I'm good. No. No, you cannot call me that. And please don't ever. Because I don't like the name at all, actually. Well, I don't like a lot of names. Oh, and they're crying. Okay. FNAF lover, I kind of messed up. Yeah. Fine, you can call me Red Guy if you want. I like the name. But seriously, please just call me Zenner or Sapphire. Except if you're someone who I know in real life, but yeah. Here is 𝓡𝓪𝓂.exe. And I don't really have a favorite YouTuber. I like watching many YouTubers, so I don't really have a favorite. Thanks. What's up? And the rest I do not know. This sucks.
You got rinsed like 4 times. Soap didn't come out, so I had to rinse it.
Okay. These next parts are you don't watch YouTubers? I do watch YouTubers. I just don't have a favorite. Thank you. Oh, hey, it's Ian. I forgot to name him. Yep, it's official. I just messed up. So a little of me, I like playing Gacha and Minecraft and Roblox the most. I'm currently in high school right now. Don't really want to say what year I am, unless you're one of my friends in real life. You already know what year I am in high school. How'd you mess up? I put it in the wrong slot. I mostly like Pokemon and Naruto the most. Oh yeah, there's more. And I just got a frickin' picture of Jeff the Killer. There's my hot dog. Yeah, I literally watch all the time. Oh yeah, I also like watching Amphibia in the Owl House. Okay, can someone please tell me how many freaking creepypastas are there? Oh, that's cool. Actually, what is the most 𝓧𝔁? It's official, guys. Most popular or most famous creepypasta is the 𝓧𝔁. Okay. Lucky I got out of school at like 3 or something. I know lots of creepypastas. Let's see, I've done... There's a horrifying picture of Ben drowned. Let's see, I've done Jeff the Killer, Ben drowned. Alright, next one is Laughing Jack. Beings and entities, children and childhood deaths, murders and disappearances, famous creepypasta, monsters, creatures and cryptids, slashers and gore, torture and cannibalism. December 19th, 2017. 11 minutes of reading. So it's actually saying a story about Laughing Jack here. You guys know I love telling stories to you guys. Well, actually, not really. So this is being told by someone, which is a history behind Laughing Jack. So this is someone telling a story of their experience. It was a nice summer day. My 5-year-old son, James, was playing outside in the backyard of our suburban home. James had always been a quiet boy. He plays by himself mostly. He never had many friends, but he has always had a wild imagination. I was in the kitchen feeding our dog, Fido, when I heard what sounded like James talking to someone in the backyard. I'm not sure who it was. He could be talking to. I'm not sure who it was he could be talking to. Could he have finally made a friend? Being a single mom, it's hard for me to always keep an eye on my son, so I decided to go outside and check on him. When I went into the backyard, I was a bit confused because James was the only person back there. Was he talking to himself? I could have sworn I heard another voice. James, it's time to come inside, I called out to him. He came inside and sat down at the kitchen table. It was about lunchtime, so I decided to make him a turkey sandwich. James, who are you talking to out there? I asked. James looked up for a moment. I was playing with my new friend, he said, smiling. I poured him some milk and continued to pry, as any good mother would. Does your friend have a name? Why didn't you ask him to come have lunch with us? I asked. James stared at me for a moment before replying. His name is Laughing Jack. I was a bit taken back by what he said. Oh, that's a strange name. What does your friend look like? I asked, a bit confused. He's a clown. He has long hair and a bit swirly cone nose. He got long arms and baggy pants and with strippy socks. Can you not spam in my chat, please? And he always smiles. I realized my son was talking about an imaginary friend. I suppose it is normal for kids his age to have imaginary friends, especially when he has no real friends to play with. It's probably just a phase. The rest of the day went by as per usual, and it was starting to get late, so I put James to bed. It's okay. I tucked him in, gave him a kiss, and made sure to turn on his night lights before I closed the door. I was pretty tired myself, so I decided to go to bed not long after. I had an awful nightmare. It was dark. I was in some kind of run-down amusement park. I was scared, running through an endless field of empty tents, broken down rides, and abandoned game huts. The whole place had a horrible look to it. Everything was black and white. The prized stuffed animals had all hung from newses, I don't know, in the game huts, all with sick grins stitched on their faces. It felt like the whole park was looking at me, even though there wasn't another living thing in sight. Then suddenly, I began to hear music play. The sounds of Pop Goes the Weasel beginning played on the squeeze box echoed through the park. It was hypnotizing. I followed its tune to the circus tent, almost in a trance, unable to stop my legs from moving forward. It was pitch black. The only light came from the single spotlights shining on the center of the big top. As I walked toward the lights, the music slowed down. I found myself singing along, unable to stop. It is long. All around the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel. The monkey threw those all in fun. The music stopped right before its climax. And hello. Sorry, I was reading. And suddenly the lights shot on. The intensity of the lights was practically blinding. All I could see was a dark, silhouetted shuffle towards me. Then another one appeared, and another, and another. There were dozens of them, all coming toward me. I couldn't move. My legs were frozen. All I could do was watch as the haunting figures drew nearer. As they got closer, I could see they were children. As I looked at each one, I noticed they were all horribly disfigured and mutilated. I don't know how to say that. Some had cuts all over their body. Others were severely burnt, and others were missing limbs. Even eyes. Why did I say even like that? The children enveloped me, clawing at my flesh, dragging me to the ground, and tearing inside me. As the children tore me apart and I faded away, all I could hear was laughter, horrible, awful, evil laughter. How long is this story? I woke up the next morning in a cold sweat. After taking a few deep breaths, I looked over and saw that a few of James's action figures were positioned facing me on top of my nightstand. I sighed. James had probably woken up early and put these there. I gathered up the toys and made my way to James's room. However, when I opened the door, James was sound asleep. I just shrugged and placed the toys back into its toy box and headed out to the living room. A little while later, James woke up and I made him breakfast. He was quiet and seemed a little groggy. Perhaps he didn't sleep well either. I decided to ask him about the toys. James, honey, did you put the toys in Mommy's room this morning? His eyes shot up at me for a moment, then quickly glanced back down at his cereal. Laughing Jack did it. I rolled my eyes and responded, well, you tell Laughing Jack to keep the toys in your room. James nodded and finished up his breakfast, then decided to go play out in the backyard. I went to relax in the living room, and I must have dozed off because I woke up a couple of hours later. Shit, I need to check on James. I was a bit worried, and it had been over 2 hours, and I haven't checked up on him. I went to step out of the backyard, but James wasn't there anymore. I was getting nervous, so I called out to him. James, James, where are you? Just then, I heard a giggle come from the front yard. I rushed through the gates around to the front of the house. James was sitting there on the sidewalk. I breathed a sigh of relief and walked over to him. James, how many times have I told you to stay in the backyard? James, what are you eating? James looked up at me, then reached out into his pocket and then pulled out a handful of hard candies in all colors. This made me very nervous. Okay, bye. James, who gave you that candy? James stared at me, not speaking. James, please tell Mommy where you got that candy. James hung his head down and said, Laughing Jack gave it to me. My heart sunk. I kneeled down to him in the eye. James, I've had enough of this damn Laughing Jack thing. He is not real. Now this is a very serious situation, and I need to know who gave you the candy. I could see my son's eyes tear up. But Mama, Laughing Jack did give me the candy. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. James has never lied to me, but what he's telling me is impossible. I made him spit out the candy, and I threw the rest away. James appears to be fine. Maybe I'm just overreacting after all. He could have gotten it from Tom and Linda from next door or Mr. Walker down the street. Either way, I'm going to have to keep a closer eye on James. That night, I put James to bed as usual and decided to go to bed early myself. Suddenly, I was woken up by a loud bang coming from the kitchen. I sprung out of bed and hurried down the stairs. Sorry. When I got to the kitchen, I was horrified. Everything on the counters had been thrown on the floor, and our dog Fido hung dead from the light fixture. His stomach was cut open and stuffed with candy, the same type that James was eating earlier that day. Hello. My shock was quickly broken by a sharp scream coming from James's room, followed by loud crashes. I quickly grabbed a knife from the drawer and moved up the stairs with the speed that only a mother whose child is in danger could have. I burst through the door and flicked on the lights. Everything in the room was knocked over and tossed on the floor. My poor son is in his bed crying and shaking with fear. A pool of urine staining the sheets. I scooped my child up and ran out of the house and went next door to Tom and Linda's house. Luckily, they were still awake. They let me use their phone, and I called the police. It didn't take them long to arrive, and I explained what had happened. They looked at me as if I were crazy. They searched the house, but all they found was a dead dog and 2 trashed rooms. The officer had told me that someone had probably gotten into the house and done this right before making a quick escape when they heard me coming up the stairs. I knew it wasn't true. All the doors were locked and none of the windows were open. Whatever was in my house didn't come from outside. Oh my god. Okay, let's take a little break here because I kept messing up on reading this. And thank you for subscribing, Pinky. Thank you guys for 514 subscribers. This will be public, by the way, for the people who just showed up. So, you guys can rewatch the rest. But otherwise, let's continue. The next day, James stayed inside. I didn't want him to leave my sight. I went into the garage and found his old baby monitor and set it up in his room. If anything comes into it tonight, I was going to be able to hear it. I went into the kitchen and grabbed the largest knife from the drawer and put it on my nightstand. Imaginary friend or not, I'm not letting anything hurt my little boy. Soon enough, night came. I put James to bed. He was afraid, but I promised him I wasn't going to let anything happen to him. I tucked him in and gave him a kiss, and turned on the night light. Before closing the door, I whispered to him, "Good night, James. I love you." Hello, Lemon Lime. I tried to stay up as long as I could, but after a few hours, I felt myself drifting off. My baby would be safe for the night, and I needed to sleep. Just as I laid my head on the pillow, I heard a soft noise come from the baby monitor. I had put on my nightstand. At first, it sounded like interference, like the kind radio would make. Then it turned into a soft moan. Was James asleep? Then I heard it. The laugh from my nightmare. The horrible laugh. I sprung up from the bed and grabbed the knife from under my pillow. I rushed over to James's room and creaked the door open. I tried the light switch, but it wouldn't come on. I took a step in, and I could feel the warm, thick liquid on my feet. Suddenly, James's nightlight came on, and I could see the absolute horror laid out in front of me. What do you guys think happened? For those who knew the story, you guys probably know what happens next. I just realized I've been going live for an hour. Thank you for subscribing, Lemon Lime. James's body was nailed up on the wall, the nails piercing through his hands and feet. His chest was cut wide open, and his organs hung down to the floor. His eyes and tongue had been removed, along with most of his teeth. I was disgusted. I could hardly believe this was my baby boy. Then I heard it again. The soft, desperate moan. James was still alive. My baby, my poor baby, in so much pain, barely clinging to life. I ran across the room and vomited on the floor, but my sickness was interrupted by a horrible crackle coming from behind me. I spun around while wiping bile off of my mouth. Then out of the shadows emerged the fiend responsible for all this horror, Laughing Jack. His ghost white skin and matted black hair hung down to his shoulders. He had piercing white eyes surrounded by dark black rings. His twisted smile revealed a row of sharp, jagged teeth, and his skin didn't look like skin at all. It almost looked like rubber or plastic. He wore a patchy black and white clown outfit with a striped sleeve and socks. His body itself was grotesque. I don't know how to say that. His long arms hanging down past his waist, and the way he poised made him look almost boneless, like a rag doll. He let out a sickening laugh, as if to let me know he was pleased with my reaction to his work. He then turned around slowly in front of James and began to laugh even more at the horrific sight he has laid out. That was enough to shake me from my terror. I snapped. Get away from him, you bastard. I rushed at him, the monster raising the knife above my head and stabbed down at him. But as soon as the knife touched him, he disappeared in a cloud of black smoke. The knife passed right through and pierced James' still beating heart, splashing the warm blood on my face. No, what have I done? My baby. I killed my baby. I immediately fell to my knees and I could hear sirens in the distance growing louder. My boy, my sweet baby boy, I promised Mommy would protect you, but I failed. I'm sorry, James. I'm so sorry. Police soon arrived to find me in front of my son, still wielding that knife covered in my baby's blood. The trial was short. Insanity. I was placed in the I don't know how to say that, house for the criminally insane, where I have been for the past 2 months. It's not so bad there. The only reason I'm awake now is because someone is playing Pop Goes the Weasel outside my window. I'll talk to the orderlies about it in the morning. And that's the story behind Laughing Jack. And geez, that was extremely long. Why? That was so long. This was written by 𝓧𝔁-𝓵𝓮𝓮𝓹���. Alright. Sorry that took literally forever. That took like pretty much half of our life. For real, it was long. Yeah, no kidding. But anyway, now we're gonna work on Laughing Jack. The clown that has no insanity. Anyway, I apologize. That was extremely long, everyone. But we're finally gonna be doing this. I know! I also feel bad for the mother. I feel bad for, like, I just feel bad. But it's okay. Anyway, after that, well, Fiesta. That's what the. I can't speak, can I? I think I just pretty much lost my voice. Lost my voice after just taking it so long to actually talk. Now, how the heck am I gonna make Laughing Jack? I just realized that. Okay. Guys, it's official. Laughing Jack scares the living heck out of me. Yeah, I can see him now. He's the creepypasta, actually. I can. Oh, jeez, that's a good question. I'm probably gonna go have it like this, probably. I think that's what I'm gonna plan for this to actually work. Okay, what the frick am I doing with this? But seriously, for real, I feel bad for the mother. Because she just outright killed her son on accident. And it's just, oh my god. And I just messed up here. Yeah, I feel bad for the mother. She was trying to stab, Laughing Jack, but pretty much he disappeared, and yeah. Okay. I found one. Never mind, I'm not gonna do that. Here's the file design of Laughing Jack. This actually turned out really good. Babe, are you the only one in the live? Hey, I got another subscriber. Oh, this one is interesting. Actually, I think you are. Oh, this one's gonna be interesting. The next one we're doing is the Hooded Man, also known as Hoodie. I swear, if this one is long, Well, this is actually short. Okay, then. Estimated reading time, 4 minutes. As long as it's 11 minutes, then I'm good. Have you ever been influenced by clothing? I don't mean confidence by looks. Have you ever been given more control than ever by an item or truth? Or just a favorite shirt? Have you ever been influenced in the worst way? By showing the truth. The following is taken directly from the journal entries. The entries were written by the notorious but unknown killer. He is notorious, I don't know how to say that. And it means that everybody have seen his work. He is unknown. He is unknown because nobody knows that he has done it. His origin is unusual. No troubles, no evil family, no magic, no or paranormal forces. His life was chosen by him and him alone. His identity is also unknown. He will be named from here on as the Hooded Man. Well, no kidding, that was short. That barely even said anything about Hoodie, but okay. Guys. What the frick just happened? Anyway, the next person we'll be doing is Hoodie. Didn't he help 𝓧𝓁-𝓮 or something? I honestly have no idea. I am messing up here. I think so. I'm trying to make this work. I actually don't know what the bottoms of Hoodie is. But anyway, here's the final design of Hoodie. I'm gonna fix the eyes real quick. There we go. Sorry, I was looking at the chat. Oh, this one's interesting. Okay, this one is actually interesting. I'm not even gonna say who this one is because I want to read I want to read it first, and then you guys get to actually guess who the creepypasta is. The long road home seemed to go on and on. The road continued to stretch in front of the vehicle endlessly. The light that shone through the branches of the tall green trees danced across the window in random patterns, and every once a while, obnoxiously shining in your eyes. The surroundings were full of deep green trees forming a forest around the road. The only sound was the sound of the car's engine, and it traveled down the path. It was peaceful and left a serene, feeling. Although the ride seemed like a nice one, it lacked every form of nice from its two passengers. The middle-aged woman behind the steering wheel had neat, short brown hair that lifted her complexion quite well. She wore a green V-neck t-shirt and a pair of blue jeans. Hello. Diamond stud earrings decorated each of her ears, which partially shone from behind her haircut. She had deep green eyes, which her shirts brought out. The lighting seemed to make them more noticeable. There wasn't anything significant about her appearance. She looked like any other average mother you would see on TV shows, and however, the one thing that made her different than the average mothers was the dark bags she had under her eyes. Her facial expression was gloomy and sad, though she generally looked like someone who had smiled a lot. Who do you guys think this is? Who do you think the creepypasta is? Okay. She would sniffle every once in a while, and occasionally glance in the no, it's not zero, and rear view mirror. No, it's not clockwork either. To look at her son in the back seat, who was hunched over partially, and his arms were held tight around his chest. No, it's not Sally either, and his head pressed against the cold window. The boy lacked any normal appearance, and anyone could plainly see that there was something wrong with him. His messy brown hair went every which way, and the luminescent lightning brought out his pale, almost gray skin. His eyes are dark, unlike his mother's, and he wore a white t-shirt and scrub pants that had been provided for him by the hospital. The clothes he had worn before were so shredded and blood-stained that they weren't wearable anymore. The right side of his face bared a few cuts, along with a split eyebrow. His right arm was bandaged all the way to his shoulder, which had been shredded when his right side hit the shattered glass. Anyone have any ideas who this is? I'll give you guys a hint. It's a male. So I'll give you guys a hint of the creepypasta. This person is a male. And he has a disorder. Alright, I'll keep reading. His injuries appeared to be painful, when in reality he couldn't feel anything. This was just one of the glories of being him. One of the challenges he had to face while growing up was growing up with a rare disease that caused him to be completely numb towards pain. Never before that he had felt he had before had he felt himself to get hurt. He could have lost an arm and felt nothing. The other major disorder he had faced, which was the one that themed him in many insulting nicknames, in the short time he attended in a low grade school before he was switched to homeschooling, was his Tourette's syndrome, which means he has tics. No, it's not Jack the Ripper, which caused him to tic and twitch in many ways he couldn't control. He would crack his neck uncontrollably and twitch every once in a while. The kids would tease him and call him 𝓧𝔁-𝓵𝓮-𝓁𝓂, and they mocked him for being exaggerated twitching and laughing. It got so bad that he had to turn to homeschooling. It was too hard for him to be in a common learning environment, with seemingly every kid poking or more like stabbing fun at him. Toby stared blankly out the window, his face empty of any emotion. In very few minutes of his shoulder, arm, or foot would twitch. Every bump that the car tires hit could make his stomach turn. I know I saw it. Toby Rogers was the boy's name, and last time Toby remembered riding in the car was when it crashed. That's all he thought about. Unconsciously replaying everything he remembered before he blacked out over and over again. Toby had been the lucky one. His sister had not been so lucky. When the thoughts of his sister came, he couldn't help the tears that welled up in his eyes. The horrible memories replayed in his mind. Her screaming, the head cut off when the front of the car was smashed in. It all went blank for a moment before Toby opened his eyes to see his sister's body. Her forehead pierced with glass shards. Her hips and legs crushed under the force of the steering wheel, and her torso pushed in from the too late inflated airbag. That was the last thing he had seen of his dear old sister. The road home continued on for what seemed like forever. It took so long to get home because his mother wanted to avoid the sight of the crash. When the surroundings gave way to a familiar neighborhood, they were both more ready to get out of the car and step back into their own home. It was an older neighborhood with quaint little houses all next to each other. The car drove in front of a blue house with white window panes. They both quickly noticed the old vehicle that was parked in the front of the house and the familiar figure that stood in the driveway. Toby felt automatic anger and frustration take over him at the sight of his father, who wasn't there. His mother pulled the car up in the driveway beside him before turning off the engine and preparing to step out and face her husband. "Why is he here?" Toby said quietly, as he looked back at his mother, who reached to open the car door. "He's your father, Toby. He's here because he wants to see you." His mother responded in a monotone voice. He trying to sound less shaky, yet couldn't drive up to the hospital to see Lyra before she died. Toby narrowed his eyes at the window. Sorry. "He was drunk that night, honey. He couldn't drive." "Yeah, when is he not?" Toby pushed the door open before his mother and stumbled out onto the driveway, where he met his father's gaze before looking down at his feet with stern expression. His mother stepped out behind him and met her husband's eyes before walking out around the car. His father opened up his arms, expecting a hug from his wife, but she walked past him and put her arm around Toby's shoulder and started leading him inside. "Connie," her husband began in a raspy voice. "What, no welcome home hug, huh?" She ignored her husband's obnoxious words and walked past him with her son under her arm. "Yeah, hey, he's 16. He can walk by himself." His father began to follow them, and "He's 17. Connie glared back before opening the door to the house, stepping inside. "Toby, why don't we get in your room to rest, okay? I'll come get you when dinner's ready." "No, I'm 16. I can walk by myself," Toby said sarcastically, and glared back at his father before stumbling up the small staircase and turning into his room, where he slammed the door violently. His little room didn't have much in it, just a small bed, a dresser, and a window, and his walls had a few picture frames of his family, back when they were a family, before his father became an alcoholic and acted violently toward the rest of his family. Toby remembered when he was arguing with his mom, and he grabbed her by the hair and shoved her to the floor. And when Lyra tried to break it up, he pushed her down, and she hit her back on the corner of the kitchen counter. Toby could never forgive for what he did to his mother and sister. Never. So I'm just gonna skip a bit because most of it is not important that much. Okay. The hours passed slowly, and Toby couldn't quit tossing and turning. Every time he let his imaginations take over, he heard the screeching of tires, off his cover, and lying on his back. Wait, what? No, I skipped the line. Screech of tires, and the screaming of his sister, and he would uncontrollably jerk in bed. He threw off his cover and lying on his back. He pulled his pillow over his face and cried into it. He could hear his own pitiful weeping. He would have been screaming and crying if he didn't press his pillow over his face. After a few seconds, he threw his pillow off his face and sat up, hunched over, holding his head and breathing roughly. Tears streaming from his eyes, he couldn't help but cry. He didn't keep it in, but he couldn't stop the whining and whimpering as he sat there shaking. He inhaled before he stood up and walked around his bed to the window and peered out, taking deep breaths, trying to calm down. He rubbed his eyes and looked out at the group of tall pine trees across the street. He stopped suddenly, and his gaze slowly centered on something standing under the street light. He heard ringing in his ears. Sure. And couldn't look away. The figure stood beside the street light, about 2 feet shorter than it did. Long arms dropped at the side. It stared up at him with non-existing eyes. The figure had no facial features to speak of. No eyes, no mouth, no nose. Yet it held Toby's hypnotized stare, seemingly peering into his very being. The ringing in his ears grew louder and louder. Each second he stared before suddenly it all went black. The next morning, Toby woke in his bed. He felt different. He wasn't tired at all, and when he consciously woke up, it felt like he had been lying there awake for hours. He had no thoughts flowing through his mind. He sat up slowly, and stumbled over to the wall, but when he stood, he automatically felt dizzy. He stumbled to the doorway and walked down the stairs. His parents were sitting at the table. His father was tuned in to the small TV that sat on the countertop, and his mother was reading the newspaper. She quickly looked over when she felt Toby's presence looming behind her. "Well, good morning, sleepyhead. You've been sleeping forever," she greeted him with a hesitant smile. Toby slowly looked over at the clock and noticed that it was 12:30 p.m. And I'm going to skip more. Alright. Connie continued to push around by her husband, being way too submissive to him, and Toby remained in his room. Yep. I think I'm gonna go to sleep after this, after I take a shower. Before he could think twice, he could begin to chew on his hands, tearing the flesh from his fingers. He would gnaw his hands until they bled. When his mother walked in on him, which he was doing so, she reacted horribly. She rushed him downstairs and grabbed the first aid kit, wrapping his hands in bandages. Afterward, he demanded that he wouldn't leave her side again. Toby isolated himself so that he grew to hate being around others. His memory grew glitchy as well. He'd start missing a memory of minutes, hours, days, and so on. He would begin taking nonsense about things completely unrelated to the conversation he would have. He'd go off about seeing things, sharks in the sink as he washed the dishes, hearing crickets in his pillows, and seeing ghosts outside his bedroom window. His mother grew so anxious about his mental health that she decided it would be good for him to talk to a professional about what he was feeling. Connie walked Toby into the building, holding his hand and guiding him in. She walked him up the front desk and began talking to the lady who sat behind it. "Mrs. Rogers?" the lady asked. "Yep. Yes, that's me." Connie nodded. "I'm here to see Dr. Oliver. I'm here with Toby Rogers." "Yes, right this way." The lady stood and led them down a long hallway. Toby looked at the framed artwork down the halls and turned into the sound of the lady's high heels on the hardwood floor. Let's get more of it. Okay, I'm just gonna skip to pretty much the interview thing. "So I'm going to ask you a few questions. Try to answer them as honestly as possible, okay?" She placed her clipboard down on the table. Toby nodded slowly and held his restrained hands in his lap. "How old are you, Toby?" 17, he responded quietly. She wrote that down on the paper that was clipped to the clipboard. "What is your full name?" "Toby Aaron Rogers." "When is your birthday?" "April 28th. "Who is your immediate family?" Toby paused for a minute before answering her question. "My mom, my dad, and..." He stopped. My sister." "Hello?" "I heard about your sister, dear. I'm really sorry." Her expression faded into a sad, pity-filled look. Toby nodded. "Do you remember anything from that crash, Toby?" Toby looked away from her. His mind went blank for a moment. He looked down at his lap, and in the surrounding area, he heard a faint ringing sound, and his eyes widened. He froze in place. "Toby?" the counselor asked. "Toby, are you listening?" Toby felt a shiver go down his spine until he froze once again, and slowly looked over a little window through the door, where he saw it. A dark, featureless figure peering in at him. He stared, eyes widened. The ringing grew louder and louder until suddenly the loud noise of the counselor broke his trance. "Toby!" she yelled. Toby jumped and fell sideways out of his chair and backed up into the corner. Dr. Oliver stood up, holding her clipboard to her chest, a surprised look in her eyes. Toby met her eyes again, his breath hitching as he twitched. That night, Toby laid in bed. His eyes were dazed as he stared straight up at his ceiling. He could feel himself begin to doze off when he heard the scattering of footsteps down his hallway. He sat up and looked towards the doorway, his door wide open. There was no light. Everything was lit by the luminescent blue glow of the moon through his window, leaving a cold lighting. He stood up and slowly made his way toward the doorway, when suddenly the door, which previously wide open, slammed in his face. He gasped and fell back. He was out of breath. When he hit the ground, he began breathing heavily, his eyes wide open. He waited for a few seconds before getting back on his feet. He reached out and grasped the cold door handle with his bandaged head, and it creaked open. He looked out into the dark hallway and tiptoed out of his room. The window at the end of the hallway lit up the darkness with blue moonlight as he padded his way down. He could hear footsteps rustling around him, and faint giggling followed by the pitter-patter of small feet, which sounded like a child had run in front of him, giggling and running around. The hallway was a lot longer than he remembered. It seemed endless, like the ride home from the hospital. He heard the door creak in front of him. "Mom," he called in a shaky voice. He called in a shaky voice. Okay, we're gonna stop there. Because at this point I'm going to lose my voice from how much I'm actually reading of this. So we're going to read that probably tomorrow or something. I'm pretty sure everyone else just went to bed. Nope, there's 2 people here. Alright, so now we're going to be doing 𝓧𝓁-𝓵𝓮. After this, I'm going to end the live, guys, so you guys can leave the live if you want. It's up to you. But yeah. What kind of character should I make after this, guys? Come back. What do you mean? Yeah, I do. days isn't hard to actually find someone that knows. I'm sorry. And here's the final design of 𝓧𝓁. Alright guys, that'll be the end of today's live. Thank you all for joining, and once again, thank you all for 500 subscribers, or 510 subscribers. And we're gonna continue this tomorrow. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all soon. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to actually do this later, but hey. Have a good night. I'll see y'all soon. On Wolfies. Oh yeah, 𝓡𝓁. I love you.